We got Felicia Spencer back here on the program, but now as a member of the UFC women's featherweight roster. She's going to be taking on Megan Anderson in her debut at UFC Rochester on May 18th. Felicia, how are you?
I'm great, as always. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Congratulations on getting the UFC contract. Just before we get into this, was this something you felt was going to happen after your last win, or did this kind of come as a bit of a surprise?
It was a bit of a surprise. I was in talks with Invicta for my first title defense, and then, all of a sudden, it all happened. So it happened pretty quickly, but like I said, it's been on the radar. It's not like it's not much of a surprise, but it's always kind of unreal, though, to have that happen, so yeah.
And you must feel pretty good about your decision. I know there probably was an opportunity for you to go in the Ultimate Fighter, but you said, no, I'm going to hold to my guns. I'm going to fight in Invicta. And you played your cards right, because here you are in the UFC as a featherweight. We're seeing a lot of the fighters they took from tough actually drop down to 35. So I think you're kind of in a great scenario here.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly, and at the same time, it was amazing to earn my Invicta belt. Without skipping out on that, I feel like I would have missed out on something really special. So yeah, I'm really happy to be part of that lineage too.
And was there ever a point where you thought this might not happen? Because I'm sure you're keeping an eye on the UFC schedule. They're not really booking a lot of featherweight fights in the women's division. Was that getting you worried at all?
It wasn't worrying. It was something that I thought about. It is what it is, whatever they want to do. There's always another step, another route to take. But it was definitely something that I thought about, that they might be, going in a different direction.
Okay, and you referenced it there, that the title win in Invicta, the stoppage victory over Pam Sorensen. You must have been really happy with your performance, especially getting another finish and doing it in a big event, the Invicta's last card.
I wasn't super happy with the overall performance, but there was definitely some, I was happy with the win, happy with the finish. That's what I wanted. I feel like I should have finished it in the first round. There's a lot of time there that I had her back, but it's just hats off to Pam really for being so tough, and my performance in the second and third rounds wasn't my favorite, but it's a fight, so I'm kind of almost happy that the best of me hasn't been shown yet in a fight, because I know I'm capable of a lot better, so I'm excited.
Now, as a Canadian, I got to ask this question: when you're coming out to the octagon, are you going to be wearing the Canada colors, or are you going to be wearing the U.S. Colors, because you've lived in Florida for such a long time?
Well, I decided I'm gonna come out wearing the American flag on the shorts, on the gear, but I'm gonna walk out with the Canadian flag.
Nice. Okay. Good. Good to see. Good to see. You haven't forgot. The rest of us here in Canada.
I've had a few Canadians. If your family, friends, just kind of reach out and say that, really show the support, and, say that they have random people they know that know me, so it's like I can't, forget about them either, and, proud of both sides of my citizenship.
Well, we know all about Megan Anderson. Obviously, there's a lot of hype coming into the UFC. Lost to Holly Holm, came off that win over Kat Zingano. How do you feel like you match up against her here?
I think it's gonna be great. I feel so confident in every area. I'm just excited to get in there and show the world, who I am, and hopefully surprise a lot of people that I'm sure are just looking past me.
Is it tough to prepare for her to a certain degree, just because, we saw the Holly fight and, she lost that fight, and then she fought Kat, but it was such a quick fight, and, it kind of ended with a little bit of controversy with Kat, getting poked in the eye, or hit in the eye, I should say. She didn't poke her, but does that make things a little bit difficult? Because she has been out of the octagon for such a long time, and she just has the two fights.
Yeah, well, it's not difficult. It's fun to, try to think about what things she's improved on, because it's been a while since a lot of her games have been on display. But, at the same time, she's been fighting for about 5 years. It was like her first pro, fight, and there's a lot of things to look at. And she's been on my radar for a while. She's very exciting for me to prepare for, the matchup. It's one that I've been looking forward to for a while. And my teammates are on board with it. They love being my Megan. So it's great. Yeah, I'm really excited.
One of Megan's assets, or Megan's assets, I should say, is that she's obviously very big for featherweight. Do you have to bring anyone in to kind of mimic that, or do you just do your training camp as usual?
Pretty much as usual. I mean, my team has such a great variety of skill sets and sizes to work with. A lot of people have a similar body type, being taller, a little bit lankier. So I haven't flown anyone in or anything. I might partner up a little more often with some of the taller people, but still have my same, training partners. Megan Colley, all them. So it's a little bit of the same, a little bit of thinking about the height difference, but it's not that much of a difference. I know on the books it looks like a lot, but it's really not that big of a deal.
Okay. You've only had 6 pro fights, but is there any opponent, either a past opponent or someone that you've trained with that reminds you of Megan at all? Is there anyone that kind of, when you're preparing for this, you're like, oh yeah, that reminds me of that fighter?
They're all so unique. I think about Helena a little bit. She's a little bit taller, more of a striking, background. But Megan's definitely a little bit unique too, with the way that she strikes and moves, her body type and everything. So. I fought Macy Chasson as a amateur, that's the atom weight. As an amateur, she's a little taller, still another striker that I fought a long time ago. But things like that, some things that remind me of Megan.
And refresh my memory, you don't have to cut that much weight to get to 45, do you?
I cut a decent amount. I walk around in the middle of fight camp at 165, so it's still about a 20-pound cut. So I don't kill myself, but it's maybe heavy boned. I don't know, I'm strong.
I was going to say strength. That was what I was going to stick with. But yeah, so we can go with that.
Probably my strength. It kind of reminds me of the fight we saw last weekend with Kelvin and Israel. It's like
yes,
there's a little, stronger maybe, and just a different body type. But it works. Works for him obviously really well. And Megan's no Israel either. So.
And Kelvin could have had that title in the 4th round. I think if he wouldn't have taken that takedown, that we might be talking about a different champion. But that's a very good analogy. I like that. Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
My coaches, Seth Petrozelli, Mike Lee, are going to be my corner, and my fiance Todd Coppinger is also going to be helping out there this time. So I got a third corner that's going to take advantage of it. So I think I do anyway. Yeah.
And May 18th, you feel like your hand's going to get raised. You sign the contract. Otherwise, why sign the contract? How do you see it unfolding? How do you think that fight between you and Megan goes?
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be, I'm sure, I just feel like it's my moment to shine. Again, I always don't want to rush anything, but I definitely see it ending in the first round. I think there's a lot of opportunity to take her out. So wherever it goes, I'll make it go wherever I want, and it's going to be over.
This is weird to ask someone who's making their UFC debut, but where do you feel like a win puts you? Because this is a completely, still relatively new division, have you thought about that as far as the placement, especially beating Megan, who, like I said, had a lot of hype before her UFC signing?
It puts me to the top, as far as active featherweights in the division, if Amanda doesn't come back, there's Cyborg. There's other new signings that they have, and I'm open to fighting anybody. Put me to the top. I'm going to be the face of the division. It's going to be my division real soon, and everyone's just waiting to see it, or waiting to show everybody.
And just to clarify this, in case people don't know, you and I have done interviews, but bantamweight is not an option for you, right? 45 is your division.
45 is where I want to be. Yeah, it's a healthy weight for me. And there's more and more that you see men and women talking about how bad it's been for their body dieting down to a certain weight. I think it was Macy that was saying she was eating 500 calories for months on end to make straw weight. Well, it's nice that you can make that weight, but I'm not interested in killing my body to do that. I'm not afraid of fighting in a healthy weight class. There's no reason for me to try to hurt myself doing it. I'm the best in the world no matter what weight class I'm in, so I'm happy here.
And you're the best at doing these interviews, Felicia. I always appreciate you taking the time. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours.
Yeah, on social media, Instagram, Twitter, I'm at Phenom479. You can follow me on Facebook. My sponsors that have been with me for a long time, I'm always representing the other side. Apparel, they have some awesome hand wraps coming out that I always only use their hand wraps. It's amazing. Lucas Wine and Spirits, everyone that's been supporting me over the years. I know things are a little different now with Reebok being, my number one in the cage, but Combat Corner's been continuing to support me with gear and, clothing and everything, and everyone at the gym, at the Jungle, and everyone in Orlando, everyone that's been supporting me, media, I really appreciate just all the support that I get everywhere.